Library Board of Trustees. Our first item on the, yes,
Not quite live.
oh, you're not quite live,
If
sorry.
you want to keep going, you can, but I'm just.
Okay, no, let me know when you're up and going.
Okay.
Sorry, I
No.
didn't check in.
That's okay.
Okay. Take two. Today is Monday, December 11th, 2023, and I would like to call to order a regular meeting of the Saratoga Springs Public Library Board of Trustees. The first item on the agenda is the approval of our November meeting minutes. Does anyone have any questions or anything they need clarification on? And if not, I would welcome motion to approve the minutes. Okay, second.
Second.
Thank you, Frank. All in favor?
Aye.
This is unanimously, thank you. Next on the agenda is the approval of the expenditures. Let's begin with the reallocation. How's that? There is a request to reallocate $1,000 from books and rental books to periodicals and monthly forms.
And we did this last month, but I realized after the meeting that the reallocation wasn't large enough to make up for the grant that we got to cover the microfilming of this stuff that they were talking inside. I
Okay.
underestimated.
All right. Would someone like to make a motion to approve that reallocation? I'll move to approve the reallocation. Thanks, Heather, and second. Thanks, Jean. All in favor?
Aye.
That passes unanimously. Next is the November prepaid checks 71725 and 71730 totaling $6,341.44. And the December warrants check 71731 to 71796 totaling $132,218.43. Do anyone have any questions on any of those expenditures? I didn't notice anything. Anything else? If not, someone like to make a motion?
The prepaid checks and the warrants.
Thank you, Frank.
December.
And then Terry's in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to the approval of the financial reports, the November prepaids and December warrant summary sheet, the budget report, the income report, and there was a $100 gift from Karen Polanowski in memory of Doris Food. Did anyone notice anything in the financial reports that you have questions about?
So it would this be the place if I was like, so the contribution for Doris included, how is that going to be signified to the general public, or, you know, what's the acknowledgement that goes on? for that?
It didn't have any restrictions, and so we will write a letter to both Karen and to the person that she would like the acknowledgement to go to.
Okay, so it's just wondering how it was.
I didn't see that. That's okay. All right. And so would someone like to make a motion to approve the financial reports? So, you Heather? Jean, a second, all in favor? Thank you. The president's report. Unfortunately, I've made no progress with the parking lot. I have been in contact again by email and have heard nothing. Of the current commissioner who was not reelected. So I get to start all over again, I think, with a new set of people from January. And I actually put person contact information today, but I don't have it. Okay, yeah. And any trustees who still need to do or check in with me about their continuing education requirement for the state, that needs to be done by December 31st. And I will just mention in my president's report that I have received 3 emails about program changes at the library. I don't know if they went to the whole board or just to me. No, and so I will respond and, the program has not been canceled, but it's just being changed. And the frequency is being changed, and so the staff that's in their sphere of things that they work on and, so, but I will respond to those people to thank them for letting us know how valuable those are in their lives.
So I think we're all.
You did, okay. They gave it as a contact, and so I don't know who it went to and who it didn't go to. So I'll take care of responding to all of those.
It looks like Jamie, did Jamie respond, right?
Yeah, Jamie responded.
That was a nice letter. Can we talk about it later? I just have a question about it.
Yeah.
No, you can ask her.
So was it a funding? I mean, it's an every week thing now and you're going to a month?
Yep, so it was every week and then we're moving it to, instead of every week, to once a month, just to fit into each department has its own budget constraints, and so it's just moving forward, it took up way too much of our budget, but we want to keep it because it's obviously very valuable.
Oh my God,
People
it's so
obviously want it really bad, so, yeah, we definitely want to keep her, she's a great presenter. Got it, yep.
Yeah.
And we got some additional emails and we'll respond to each of them individually, and we're starting to get some responses to Jamie's responses saying, thank you for it.
Okay, right.
But I think there was a notion, people did have a notion that it was canceled
Yeah.
entirely.
Yeah.
Not
And it's not.
Yes, yes.
So would there be other funding alternatives? I mean, would it be the kind of thing, well, maybe we could partner with another program to offer something on site? It's not out of our pocket necessarily, but somebody else could fund it.
We're definitely looking into that, so we meet monthly to talk about our programs and moving forward and everything, so, we're definitely looking at different options to get more meditation-like programs perhaps at a much lower cost or free,
Yeah.
so, yeah,
And it's also good to know what programs are drawing seniors.
Yes. yes.
Right, yeah.
So like, if that's a program that they would relate to.
Yes.
Well, that one was on Zoom as opposed to here in the building and, yeah.
Can I ask what we pay her? I mean, we pay, the issue is, right, she gets paid by what? By the program, by?
Yep, so she gets paid by the program, so she does, she does the weekly meditations currently with us, she does, something called the Gratefulness Gathering, which is another sort of meditation, program, and also All Walks. And, All Walks and Grateful Gatherings, I believe, are $150 every time we do them, and the meditations are $100, so it was $100 a week. So that was why it was just wrapping up really, really quickly, and we couldn't sustain it.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
So because we sort of have that problem with the Spanish language teacher. And so how is it that it's structured so that we can see what's happening like through the budget? I mean, like, what are the giveaways, that
There,
something's like getting out of whack?
if you see the same presenter over and over again on the warrant summary sheet, so that lists who, so it'll always be program and then the presenter, so.
That's, I think, let's clarify though, are you asking how you can see how much is being paid to different presenters, or are you asking how they're tracking?
I guess, how do we monitor programming? In other words, yeah, I mean, somebody said this is a good thing to start offering more and more Spanish language programs.
Right.
Where would the oversight of the check-in process be structured? Just so that things don't kind of happen all the time, because
Right.
you do have a set budget.
Right, and this has happened twice with things that started, and I think what happened with both of these is that they started out as volunteer projects. They morphed into, so when Susan first started doing these for us, we didn't pay her. And then they morphed into paying people for their services without really being cognizant of the frequency. And so when it becomes, it's a matter of frequency, something that's offered so frequently, and that's a discussion that we're gonna have, whether we can afford to offer paid programs like on a weekly basis, because that is when it really gets to a point where it depletes the budget. And we do things on a weekly basis, but those are usually staff presented programs
Right.
rather than ones that we
Right.
contract for. And so potentially looking at a different measure, being more cognizant of the frequency that things are offered and whether and how quickly that's going to.
I can tell you, like at the department level, we run a program over that, we evaluate that, right? We go into what did it cost, not just the presenter, but also the staff time, how was the presenter to work with, how many people came, how many people said they would have liked to come but didn't, because sometimes we offer things and people are like, that's fantastic, but only one person shows up, so. And then we factor in all of the anecdotal things that our staff are telling us, so are not physically present for every program, but my staff are. So, every program gets evaluated, but some of the stuff takes a while. Last year, these services offered like 2 sessions of American Sign Language, which was very expensive, in my opinion, for multi-week, classes, especially for small groups. But we had to do it to evaluate it, so we kind of, there's like chicken and eggs, they're like, we invest, we think,
Yeah.
so we do, I want to sure that we do.
And I think you want a variety too, so that's the other piece of this, is that we want to have a variety of things that need lots of, even if though there's maybe something really popular, it means that other things aren't happening for other people that they don't even know would be popular.
And another factor in all of this is that both of these 2 programs that we've had this issue with started as kind of pandemic era programs online, and we were doing far fewer things. So the budget could stretch far for these days because we weren't doing all the things that we're doing post reopen.
Right.
And I think it just really is gave us.
Right. Yes. Well, now we know what can
Exactly.
happen.
So thank you for asking that clarifying question, and Judy, thank you for responding kindly to everyone, and I will as well. There is no public comment, the correspondence and communication, we just talked about that particular mindfulness, and then there was a thank you note from Carolyn. Coming around, okay.
Is this?
I don't know.
It's not, I didn't open it.
Oh, no, that's something else.
This was on this.
Okay, so we'll see.
I don't know what it is. From
I think it is. It says. Yeah, but this is a thank you. Okay, but a different one is going around. That must be. Go ahead. Okay, Shelley. Here we go. Here's my permission. All right. So we are at the director's report. Hi.
All right, so I didn't know if there were any questions about my written report, but the big news is that we still have a couple days of voting in the city's participatory budgeting voting, which is going right now. We're very pleased to be one of 5 projects that made it from the committee to the public voting. Jen and I went and met with some of the committee members and with Samantha from, just to be on the information sessions, to be on the application or questions about the budget. There weren't any, okay, very nice conversations with people who were. And then the
bench
other
look
thing,
just like the picture,
yes, yep.
it's really nice.
So, and the big question is, if it is funded, where will it sit? And so, our thought at the moment is probably right outside the door here on the side. We might have to think about trees and.
And sun angle and
Friends.
you get that western, all that western. Okay.
Then the other thing, I did sort of on behalf of the libraries themselves attend the county's public hearing on their budget to thank them for restoring. I don't know if you recall last year's, or 2 years ago, they had kind of slashed the grant funding that they had given to SALs to support ebooks. They restored it in this year's budget, so I just went to say thank you for doing that. So we'll see. On Wednesday, this week, I think they have their final meeting for adopting the budget, so let's hope that it stays there and comply with the budget.
Does anyone have any questions for Ike on his report? Okay. So things are in a little different order today, on the packet. Looks like, Jen, do we not have one? from you?
I didn't give a report because I would have been like, I answered emails, I attended meetings. I'll figure that.
Okay, is there any particular email or meeting you'd like to have for us?
No.
Okay. I'm glad you're so busy. John, what about you? We get a nice picture from you. Look at that, snazzy.
A little dark. Those are the new self checks, one of the new. We have 6 in total now. No, 5. 3 on the first floor, 2 on the ground floor. We still have 1 old self check holder on the center spot on the first floor. That probably will take away just to see what happens, but as far as usage, see if we need to replace it with another one. And I took the picture because of the little sticker there. We have a little how-to sticker that we just threw on there. And I was proud of that because I didn't. Did want to show off Brendan's this little thing here, so I can get it over here. Is the thing I mentioned about the Saratoga.com website updates is the stuff you had to do to get it to work. So you'll see this, it's going to work. This is the programming in motion of what the tool he built go through. Is it limited or is it retreat? But this is the tool we had to build to get all of our link elements to flow into Saratoga.com event page. So every one of these, every time it scrolls and flashes the other side of the screen is one entry. It goes through all of these parameters, these criteria, checks against this and that, against Saratoga.com, comes back, and it just amazes me stuff that you can do with web technology. It runs through like 3 or 4 of them in this 40-second clip, but that was 2, I think.
Wow.
So, yeah, and just to show you what it looks like. Yes. And web page, Saratoga.com. This is their event So there's the people, everybody has to enter these manually. But we have hundreds a month, or maybe 120 or 30 a month. So we even choose now, we can enter just about everything. They come out like this, which unfortunately you'll notice that they have pictures, most of them. The one thing that you couldn't program around is the picture.
Okay,
So all of ours don't have pictures, which may be a way to set it off a little bit. There's a, we can go though after the fact, if there's anything really we wanted to promote and push, we can enter the picture.
oh, nice. That's great.
So yeah, he's got, you read through it this month, and there's 100, I think there was 130 that we can do, and we have to be able to do it every month without having to, you know, input 130 different events.
Nice.
Don, who sponsors that site?
Saratoga?
It's the chamber.
Nice. Great. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Trevor, is there anything you want to highlight in your report?
One thing I want to correct an entry I was discussing, in the document under circulation and technical services, but a project that Francois is working on in tech services, going through and adding, 1,000+ story time books to the catalog. I realized after chatting with Fran, and she said these words to me, yeah, that project's done. And I'm like, she said, it wasn't that much. It was like, yeah, about 250, 300. And I said, well, I had 1,000. Just, yeah, all those like withdrawn ones, and no, that wasn't there. You forgot to limit your search. And I said, oh, that's amazing. She said, but the good news is it's done. So I'm moving on to another project over in the tween section, which used to be called middle grade. And so she's going through and reprocessing a lot of those items to update the terminology used to indicate that kind of in between space between children's fiction, chapter books, and true young adult literature, which the publishers use the term middle grade, which kind of indicates that, grade 4 to 6 area. But when you say middle grade to most of us in this room, we think, middle school.
Yeah.
That's kind of more, young adult. So it's tween. Everybody has a tween, the in between. So Fran is working on tween. So that's a 2 for 1.
Thank you for the
go
clarity.
Fran. So in the interest of telling the truth. So.
It'll be 1,000 before she knows it.
Oh, it's, just give me time, we'll get there. So that was, tech services, and then just, a couple things happening. I just was really proud of the learning English through cooking program Marion Rockwell offered, and had an instructor come in, and it just looked like as good a time, and it smelled like a wonderful time. People seemed to just have an awesome experience, and the whole time as people were talking, and I mean, when you're involved in this and you see the amount of grammar and language and things that come up that show you how, difficult English is to learn. How many different definitions are there for the word stew? If you're sitting there angry, you're stewing. If you're eating some gravy and some vegetables, that's eating a stew. If you're stewing, that's stirring a pot. It's just, oh my goodness. So, I mean, just rapid fire as the vocabulary is going. Marianne has this place just plastered with giant Post-its and is writing down, vocabulary and concepts and all this stuff. So she's been inspired to try to take this on with some of, with help from her students and maybe volunteer tutors to see if we can do something that in-house. I think she got comfortable with the Charlie cart. She's done a couple programs with the Charlie cart as it is, and kind of watching how the instructor went through and did the dishes, because I think it was brilliant. All cultures have dough full of tasty things, and they can be sweet or savory. And they said, well, all right, let's do, a couple different examples of that. And so I think she really kind of said, oh, this is something we can probably do. And it's, gathering people around food. It's what we do for holidays, and it's something that'd be awesome to do on a random Tuesday afternoon. So,
Right, nice.
so that was fantastic. And then one other thing, we have, the library's gonna be co-sponsoring, or be a co-sponsor of the Immigrant Resource Fair happening on March 3rd. which last month, there was some discussion about if the library may be able to offer something, of that nature. And then this, again, thanks to our partnership with LifeWorks and Bigalina, this opportunity just kind of, appeared. And so we're going for it.
Great.
That's kind of what that's what I wanted to highlight. So
Good, thanks. Any questions for Trevor from anybody? Hi.
Yeah. So we had giant dinosaurs in the.
I
yard.
see those giant dinosaurs.
I got stepped on, it was snow. So we had a big month, a lot of outreach this month, and what I can tell you, because you see the numbers and be like, oh, you talk to a lot of people, but when we go to the schools and promote, we see like a huge amount of return. So things like the D&D program that only 2 kids were signed up for, by the end of the week, it was full. Same thing, our Minecraft program had been declining a little bit, like we still had some interest in that one in full with a waiting list now. So the return rate is not only very big, but it's immediate.
Right.
And it's one of the few opportunities we have to see kids in person directly. I even did some of the visits myself and we had a really fun time. So we saw a lot of kids this month and promoted a lot of things. So I'm excited when they let us come. We do have coming up in January, the preschool fair is coming back. That has changed hands a couple times. There's been some staffing changes over at Waldorf, but they very much like that we moved it to the children's room. They felt like they saw a lot more traffic than when we had it in here, I guess. We often think there's a disconnect between this room and the children's room. So it's hard to marry the two. So the goal is to have it in the children's room again this year. And I forget how many we had, like 17 last year, something like that.
I used to volunteer to work at the preschool fair. I loved it. It was so much fun. There were these happy little kids and happy moms and dads and. Yeah.
We're very busy downstairs. I feel like I keep saying that, but it's always true. It's very
Good. Any questions for Catherine? No? Jamie, anything you want to highlight here?
Just 2 quick things is, my librarian Caitlin worked with, Brendan from IT, and they worked really hard on creating this, reporting system for, they're calling it the good news, which is,
Yeah.
it's like the opposite of our incident reports, where like, oh, this bad thing happened, it's all the good things that happen, and so that's been really great. So I highlighted a couple of the,
Those were fun.
comments from there, and then also we got into, there was a thing with Saratoga today twice, and that was, once for our Saratoga room, somebody had done an article and they did their research in the Saratoga room, and they credited them, which was fabulous, because that's a great resource that a lot of time isn't featured up front. So Saratoga room is awesome. And also my librarian Caitlin again, is the costumer. And so for her costume program that she did, with the Victorian Street Walk, somebody came and interviewed her, then did a great article, some pictures featured in there, the girls in all their outfits. So
Yeah, I saw that.
yeah.
Nice. I honestly look at that and I think, we really got up every day and having fun. Anybody else look at that and think, really?
It's a lot of layers. She did a program back in the summer about like putting on all the different layers, and you're like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. Yeah, that's so great. Thank you. Rick, welcome back. We didn't see you last month.
Yeah, we had some vacation and some medical stuff done
Yeah.
for that, so
Nice to see you.
do what you have to. Really the biggest thing is, we keep working on the lighting to LEDs, save money where you can, just like at home. You seem like you do all this work, you get your bill and it's like, oh, I saved $10. But, you have to keep doing it because the cost increases out there. It's tough. You do it better. The governments are really working pretty well as a team. I can't complain.
Good. Good. And no big snowstorm today.
That was a good thing, because it was just me and one guy. Yeah, at this point we are, but between schedules, because we're covering weekends, I have a guy out on vacation, a guy out on medical for today. And with the scheduling, one guy just worked 6 days in a row. Just do what you can.
We don't have any special or committee reports today. In unfinished business, I think you mentioned that there is no update on the policy.
No.
Did you can contact the attorney with it?
I haven't had an opportunity to do, I'm trying to figure out which attorney to reach out. to,
Okay.
since we-
Okay.
Since the one that we use primarily is employment law.
Oh,
It's
I
probably
see.
not the-
Right, okay. All right, well, I guess let us know if
Yeah.
you, need any suggestions. And, I don't think we have any new business, right? Okay. So I would like to adjourn our, does anyone have anything else that they forgot to bring up or questions? No? Okay.